And welcome back. You are now entering the Shadow Gallery. I am, as always, your host, James Donnelly, and check your watch. You know what time it is. It's time for new comics, bitches! So, I'm late this week, or early for this next week, but no, I haven't seen anything from the new week, but I'm late for last week because Arkham City came out last week, Batman Year One came out last week, the Green Lantern Extended Cut came out last week, so I've been really, very deep into Arkham City, which, I got my Arkham City shirt that came free with my order from Newegg.com. It was $12 less plus the free T-shirt, so you can't lose. You couldn't lose with that deal. But that was strictly a pre-order thing, so you won't be able to find it now. By the way, Arkham City, fucking fantastic. Better than Arkham Asylum. Because you can come back at any time and there still will be asses to kick. I have finished the story mode. I'm still, playing. I finished the Bane side mission. I finished the Deadshot side mission. I've still got a lot to collect. A lot of Riddler trophies to collect before I get to those missions. Anyway, we're here to talk about comics, but it's Arkham City, so you have to talk about it a little bit. God damn it. Anyway, so let's dive right the fuck in. Okay, Fear Itself, Book 7, the finale of Fear Itself. Not really the finale, though. More or less. So basically, you have here, Cap is standing alone at kind of this man-made barricade, kind of facing off against the, Nazi bots and everything like that, of Sins. And then Tony Stark comes back with a whole bunch of Asgardian weapons for certain members of the Avengers. She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Spidey, Wolverine, Black Widow, Iron Fist, Hawkeye, Doctor Strange. All of these guys get different weapons. And of course, Tony himself. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. You do like, Thor facing off against the Serpent. And then ultimately, when the coolest moment of the whole comic is right here, where Cap actually picks up Thor's hammer. Excuse me, and gives, pardon me, and gives the cry, "Avengers Assemble," and they certainly do. And as they fight, as they combat this, of course, the prophecy that Thor will fight the Serpent and he will die while fighting the Serpent. But, around the world, you do get, hope starts to reignite across the planet. People are calling it a miracle. Cap really, really, really wants to face off against Sin. Odin is ready to go guns blazing onto Midgard, raise it to nothingness, just so that he can destroy his brother. But Thor has already done that, Odin scatters the hammers of all the bad guys, and Thor, spoiler alert, dies again. Because hasn't Thor died like once already? Didn't Ragnarok actually happen in Asgard and he died and now he's come back? I don't know. That was during Straczynski's run on the title, wasn't it? Anyway, Fear Itself, Flashpoint. Two examples of how the how do I put this? Of how the event comic is imploding upon its own weight. Now, after kind of the funeral pyre for Thor, you do get some backstory add-ons where Sin wants to find wants her hammer back because she misses feeling like a god. You get Bruce Banner and the Hulk have physically separated. Which is going to lead, of course, so the Sin storyline that's leading into the Fearless maxi series. That's 12 issues. You've got like I said, that the Hulk and Banner dividing. That's going to lead into the Incredible Hulk, the new series by Jason Aaron and Mark Silvestri. Then you've got another series where it looks like it's they're going to be going against people like Taskmaster, and Paladin, and some of the Guns for Hire of the Marvel Universe, and that's going to be in Battle Scars. And then there's another book here that is on its way. And that's, of course, that's the Defenders, where basically the Hulk comes to Doctor Strange requiring help because he hates the fact that Null took over his brain, and Null is actually, he's gone now, but he's still, he's been freed, and Hulk just wants him, destroyed. So he needs the help of the old Defenders to get that going. So that looks like it might be kind of cool. And then, of course, at the very end, there's this. It's coming. And so if you see in the names in the corners, you got Jason Aaron, Bendis, Brubaker, Olivier Coipel, however, also Matt Fraction, Hickman, Andy or Adam Kubert, and John Romita Jr. And this may look strange to you right now, but they are looking at bringing Phoenix back, which it seems like I don't know what they're going to do with that. But anyway, going back to Fear Itself and Flashpoint, and like I said, Fear Itself took a long time to get going, and it never really did. It never quite reached there. There was one week, I think it was the third issue, or I'm sorry, no, it was the issue that was Thor versus the Thing versus the Hulk. That was a great issue because you got everything you wanted out of it. And the rest of the issues were pretty, par for the course. This happens, that happens, all of it being, it just ends so, it seems like, okay, there's this big climax, but not really. The last time that, well, I can't even really remember the last time DC did an event comic that was, a very central event comic, and it really worked well. Going back to the last, like Identity Crisis, I think was the last one I think that was really good that DC did. But like Final Crisis was a fucking travesty. Infinite Crisis was just meh. Flashpoint was not as bad as Final Crisis, but it was still pretty bad. And last Marvel one that had any kind of resonance for me, that seemed to be important and to have really something to say, was Civil War. So, I mean, Secret Invasion, Siege was really good, but that was only 4 issues. So it wasn't quite the big event. Dark Reign, again, another big, kind of big event, but never really, nothing really came of that until Siege. So it always seemed like, so okay, what we got out of this, okay, Bucky is dead, Thor is dead. But Bucky is still alive, obviously, in a Captain America and Bucky, so we can still read that and enjoy it. And so, I mean, it just doesn't feel like anything of value really happened here. It just was like, okay, well, I'm going to make Steve Rogers Captain America again by killing Bucky. If I were Ed Brubaker, that really would have pissed me off because he was doing some really awesome work with Bucky as Cap. But whatever. So again, just the whole idea of the event comic, because there have been some really good work that have been maxi series, 8, like 5 or 8 or whatever issues. Like Spider Island is a really good example of a big event, but it's really only happening kind of in one universe. Or I shouldn't say in one universe. I mean, it's it's happening distended from the events of Fear itself, or the events of Schism or whatever. Schism, another really good. Another really good example of a short but sweet event. That's a major that's a major change in the universe and set up for some really interesting storylines. And so, I mean, those were things. The Marvels project that Brubaker and Epting did about kind of like the beginnings of the Marvel universe. That was really cool. So again, it's just, it's not that I had really high hopes for this, but it's just, when you have an event comic, it's supposed to feel like an event comic. It's supposed to feel really big and large scale and everything. And this did have scale. It's not saying that it didn't have scale, but as far as how important it was, because everything, like when, Thor blew a hole in the thing, I thought, okay, that's serious. But then they undid it like that. In this very same issue, Franklin cured Ben Grimm. So it was like, okay, well, that's, I mean, I know that they can't kill 2 FF members, especially during its big, kind of, anniversary, 50 years of Fantastic Four, or whatever it is that is this year. So I guess it just, meh. So this is, so Fear itself, just overall, just didn't bring home what I wanted it to bring home. The event comic does not exist simply to kill off major characters, or even, not so major characters. It exists because there is a story worth telling. It's not just to upset the status quo. And that is what event comics need to get through their heads, is that it doesn't have to do that. It can just be a really good story, like Schism, like the Marvels Project, like Spider Island. These are all examples of really well-told stories, and they're, they don't always have to be, it's going to change the world forever. So do with that what you will. Stick around because we've got a lot more comics to talk about. So stay tuned.